this one to my brother. All right. So every comparison operator um, return a true or false value, not value, but value. So if you have less than or equal to or something like that, if you have some kind of like equal to or not equal to, it's going to return true or false. Okay. Um, so what you're supposed to do is, in general, you want to return a value, not just print something out. So you could just print something out like we did here, right? This was just as an example. When I went to CodePen, I put in like, if-else statements, and I just said, okay, return this value, or I just said print out this value to console, to, whatever, blah, 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 to alert. These are just ways of me testing it out. But in reality, you're actually supposed to use that in some way. So you return this back. Now you're probably wondering, it's like, well, what does this get returned to? Well, usually you use this in a function. So let's say that we have a function call. I don't need two of these. Come on. And I call this function like, I don't know, check age. And I put all this code inside this function. Now, when I run this code and I do a return, it will return this value back to the function itself. So what happens is, now instead of doing alerts, I can actually use this value. So I can use, let's turn all these into returns. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so we have all these different returns. You're probably wondering, okay, where is this going to get returned to? Well, this is a good point of using a variable. So we put, instead of doing check age like this, we can store a variable or store a function like this. And that way we know exactly what the return value is going to get stored inside. So where do you think this return value gets returned to? What do you think it gets stored inside? Inside of this variable called check age. So what this did was we created a function that says, okay, anytime we call check age, it will go through these if-else statements, and it will check to see if age is blah, 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 any of these things. And we can pass it age, right? So we can pass this variable to age, or we can just use it because we declared it up here. So what happens is, if I return this value, it gets stored in check age. So let's make this a little bit more fun. Warrior Sephiroth. If warrior is equal to Sephiroth, return I'm greatly pleased. Sephiroth is an excellent warrior. Else if warrior is equal to, I don't know, what was that one game? Blood Rain. Blood Rain. Sick. She is super badass. else if warrior is equal to Mario. All right, let's say is equal to Mario Brothers. Okay, so if name is equal to Mario, I guess that's cool. Else if name equals Luigi, we put down. I'm sorry, but you're a safety liability. I'm just gonna leave that in there. Else say, so if none of those fit, then we say, sorry, I don't know that warrior. All right, so now we broke it down. Name is just like something else I just came up with. Let's say that. So I just came up with this, but generally these are supposed to be objects, not like strings. So, oh, we've gone over objects, haven't we? Have we? No, we haven't gone over objects yet. Yeah, so, don't worry about this name part yet. This usually, I can only do it like when it's like warrior.name, which would be when we're doing objects, which is when it gets really badass, because that gets in like real gaming. So, so if the warrior.name is, like Luigi, then, really fuck him over. Although Luigi's, I think, cooler than Mario. Mario's kind of an asshole. Alright, so that's what the return statement does. It returns that value just back to the function itself. So if you have a function that's stored into a variable, then that value gets stored into that variable. So now if you use check age, it actually contains that value back to it. And then you can use that value. So you can say, oh, I got this string now. So now it contains this string. So now it's doing some functionality, right? So that's what that's about.